Hello, my name is Christina, and I am a career counselor at Santa Monica College's Career Services Center. Today, I'm going to go ahead and share with you a couple of tips in this workshop that we put together on how to best prepare you for an interview. So first, congratulations, you got the interview. Now what? We can only imagine how nervous you might be, having mixed feelings and mixed emotions, thinking this is really exciting. They actually got back to me, and but at the same time, even though it's exciting, it's also nerve-wracking in terms of how do I best prepare? What questions are they going to ask me? So hopefully this presentation will give you a little bit more insight on what to expect and how to best prepare. So 7 tips, just a quick overview of these. Know the job description, do your research, figure out how you're going to craft and create your responses, practice those responses, prepare beforehand and think about strategies on really going into the interview and how can I put my best foot forward. Self-awareness and a little bit of interview etiquette. So much like the game of chess, strategy and practice will definitely come into play here. So tip number 1, know the job description. Hopefully in this whole process, you were able to save the job description in a Word document or in Google Drive or in Excel somewhere with those details, not just the link, because sometimes when the interviewer removes the link from the website, you might not necessarily be able to go back in there. So definitely save the job description, save those words, see what exactly are they looking for, what are those skills that you have. And once you really review those, you might also want to look back at the resume that you submitted, because there might be some experience or expertise that you mentioned in your resume that maybe you forgot that you mentioned. So also know that resume that you submitted. And once again, going back into resume writing really quickly, you definitely want to submit unique resumes to every employer that you're applying to. So tip number 2, do your research. Go to the company's website, know it back and forth. What's their mission? What are their values? Do they have a strategic plan? Learn about what they do, how they do it, maybe some goals. Look at different industry trends so that maybe you can be able to speak to some of the buzzwords in the industry. What are the competitors doing? So what might they be doing differently? What sets the competition apart? Maybe what sets this company apart from the competition? So knowing a little bit of that history along with planning, company planning, will be really helpful. And research the industry specific questions. So in another presentation, in another workshop, we'll be going over these 7 top asked questions and how you can best prepare for those. So be on the lookout for that workshop. And doing a simple Google search, maybe you'll find out that they're in the news or that they recently relocated. So that might be another discussion point during your interview. And looking them up on Glassdoor. So like Indeed, Glassdoor also has job postings, but the neat thing about Glassdoor is that it actually has past and present employees give feedback from their experience working at the company. So you might have a little bit of additional insight that others might not necessarily have. So check them out on Glassdoor, maybe they'll be there. And lastly, ask someone who works there. So maybe they have a little bit of knowledge in terms of the work environment, the atmosphere, maybe the expectations. So, kind of seeing how much they know and how much that could help you, especially with making your informed decision on, is this company right for me? Number 3, you might ask me, Christina, what do I do with all that information that I gathered? Well, we're going to go ahead and utilize that information as a bridge to create your answers. So you know from the job description what they're looking for. You know what skills you have. Now, if you go ahead and merge those two along with your research on the company, that will then be this equation for a solid response to their questions. So focusing on the needs of the company when you respond, focusing on the skills that you bring to the table, and maybe how it informs their mission or their future goals coming up. Tailor your answers to the company. Focus on the positives, so not the negatives of your past. How have you overcome a challenge? What strategies did you use? What are some success stories that you had in the past? So utilize these different pieces of information in your responses. And practice out loud. I cannot tell you how obvious and apparent it is when someone walks into an interview and you can tell that they've practiced. You can tell that they went over their responses and they practiced out loud because they're not necessarily tripping over their words when they speak. So when we practice out loud, immediately we might start thinking, oh, I didn't like the way I phrased that, or I don't know what I was going, on that train of thought. So practicing out loud can really help with that. It can really help cater your answers, polish them so that you can really put your best foot forward. So doing that, after you practice out loud, maybe by yourself or in front of a mirror, I would highly suggest scheduling an appointment with one of us in the Career Center with a career counselor, because then we can go ahead and do a mock interview with you and we can ask you some of those questions and we can look at your body language and see, okay, is there maybe some nervousness coming out in any way, shape, or form? Typically, the nervous voice, that's common, but maybe you might talk with your hands a lot, or maybe you play with your hair. So just some things to kind of think about as you're planning this interview. Hopefully, if you have enough days beforehand, in advance, if you know in advance, you can go ahead and schedule an appointment with one of us. The idea of just winging it, going in there and saying, I know about the company and yeah, I have an idea of what I'm going to say, it is very obvious that practicing wasn't a part of your strategy. So highly suggest don't just wing it. And preparing beforehand. So you might want to go ahead and open up your closet, try on some different outfits, see what you have, see what's most comfortable for you, what fits well, not too big, not too small. And I would say if you're in the art or design field, maybe adding a hint of color somewhere, whether or not it's a jacket or a tie or a scarf, maybe a handbag. You don't have to go and spend too much money, but something that will set you apart, something that they'll remember. So maybe it was a certain color that you wore, and they can remember and think back, oh, it was a person that responded this in this way, the person wearing green, etc. So something to think about. Suits are generally not required unless it's a finance position. And also think about any fragrance that you might be wearing. Don't wear too much just because if the interviewer is allergic, or if it just is very overpowering, maybe the person doesn't like the scent as much as you do. You don't want to be negatively remembered. So a little tip there. What should I bring? So bring a folder with you. You don't need to go and spend too much money on a $40 plus pad folio. Something clean, something very organized, something that will really help. Make sure that you have the address and the instructions. If there is an office suite number listed, make sure that you have that. I would highly suggest you do a test drive and see how long it might take you to get there with traffic. The names of your interviewers, make sure you have that, and maybe even doing a little bit of background research on LinkedIn to see what school they went to, what major, what companies they've worked for before. It might be a helpful talking point before or after the interview. So know the interviewers. 2 copies of your resume, cover letter, and your references, just in case they ask. A paper and pen, and then always have those 2 to 3 questions for the interviewers. They typically ask you, do you have any questions for us towards the end of the interview? And you'll be prepared. Make sure you have those ready. And tip number 6 is on self-awareness. So just know it's okay to be nervous. It's normal. We all feel nervous during an interview. But I want you to keep in mind, I want you to challenge yourself. Just as much as they're interviewing you, you're also interviewing them. Are they going to create an environment where you're going to build on your professional development and your skills? So it's easy to just feel like you're the only one on the hot seat, so to speak, but you're not. They should feel that way as well. Arrive early, about 15 minutes, not any earlier than that. And as you wait to be called in, as you're sitting there, maybe sit up, ground your feet on the floor, and just take deep, slow breaths in. That should help with some of the nervousness, maybe if you have shaky hands, etc. And just take comfort in the fact that you've practiced. You did the best you can. And practice makes perfect, right? So just like you might practice for a dance or music recital to be best prepared, you've done your due diligence. Like I said, take comfort in that. And be courteous to everyone around. You never know if the hiring manager might ask the administrative assistant or the receptionist, oh, what do you think about this and this candidate? Were they nice? How did they greet you, etc. So always genuinely just show respect and be nice to all of those who you speak with. Number 7, during the interview, these are some tips that it can be very easy to forget. So turn off not only your phone, but if you have any other smart devices, like a tablet or a laptop, make sure that those are off as well. Vibrate's not good enough. We could still hear when phones vibrate. So make sure it's either on silent or completely off during the interview. It's fine if you want to chew gum beforehand, but before you enter the building, make sure you throw it out in the trash can. It can be very distracting. And remember not to play with your hair. If you feel like you're someone that has that tendency, maybe an updo or a backdo, ponytail, bun, etc., maybe that'll be helpful for you. Don't be afraid to ask for clarification questions. Typically, these questions are ranked on a scale, so number scale. And if for some reason they ask you one question and you're not quite sure and you completely veer off and answer it incorrectly, you might be at risk of getting a 0 for that response. So if you need to clarify, that shouldn't be marked against you. Feel free to go ahead and do so. Maybe you can ask, can you rephrase that? What do you mean by that? Go ahead and ask them something more specific. Be confident, be engaged, be excited. Remember, you stood out in your resume. So you should feel accomplished in that there was something in that resume that really made you shine and that made them call you for the interview. So just take joy in that and know, you know what, this is an honor and a privilege to be here. And hopefully that'll brighten up your spirits a little bit among the nerves. Write down the names of the interviewers so that you can send thank you notes and emails. I know that we went over knowing the names. Make sure that you at least have the emails as well. And ask them about next steps. So it's completely fine to say, when are you planning on hiring? When should I, hear back from you? That's fine. Those are all fine questions, and that can actually help you for the next step, which is not only thanking them for their time at the end, but sending them either an email or a note card. You can go ahead and send individual note cards via email if there's going to be a fast turnaround time with hiring, so maybe a week or two. If it might be hiring later on, let's say in a month, thank you notes are fine. But make sure that you send them to each individual person who is interviewing you. You can include a couple, 4 or 5 sentences that might state something that you appreciated that maybe they said or that they shed some light upon during the interview, or a unique detail of the interview, of that conversation, and anything that you wanted to say that you completely forgot. Sometimes we want to say, I really want to talk about these skills, but if it didn't necessarily, if you didn't have that particular experience or the question, this is your opportunity to go ahead and mention that. And just remember to keep it short and professional. So before I go ahead and talk about how you can make an appointment with a career counselor, I do want to say that there are additional workshops. One is discussing digital interviewing. So sometimes the first phase of interviews might be or might include a digital interview. So via Zoom, via Skype, etc. There is a digital interview workshop that is being posted. And the second interview workshop goes a little bit more in depth on the 7 top questions that interviewers ask and how you can best cater and craft your particular responses to those questions. So be on the lookout for those. Any currently enrolled students can make an appointment with a career counselor to discuss resume, interview, major, career, the whole spectrum of career development by calling 310-434-4337. And if you should have any questions, please feel free to email us at careerservices@smc.edu. And I would highly suggest that you follow us on Instagram at SMC Career Center so that you can keep up to date with any new workshops, events, upcoming things that are really exciting for us to go ahead and give to you. So with that, once again, my name is Christina, and it's an honor to be able to go ahead and host this workshop for you. I wish you the best of luck in the rest of your semester. Take care.